All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, May 3rd, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. A couple more winners in the books today. Taking more profits on those China plays. You guys know I was one of the few talking about that earlier this year when everybody was throwing themselves off a cliff on China. Took some profit on FXI yesterday and 2x long Shanghai CSI 300 today. Chow also in the day trading room. Monster gains on NQ and ZT. That's going to be paying for my dinner tonight. If you're thinking about joining, trading right now with the volatility, it's been an awesome time. Now is a great time. Anyways, let's get into it this week here, or today rather. So spiders with a pretty good rally up 1.25. We had the non-farm payroll this morning. Remember what I told you earlier this week? I said this on Monday. Jerome Powell knows what the job number is going to be. What did he say Wednesday? I don't see the stag or the inflation. He knew exactly what that jobs report was going to be, and he knew that he had room to say that, and everybody, crapped on him for saying that, and, I did too, honestly, because it's such an ivory tower bullshit PhD economist thing to say. That's just my opinion on the matter. But he's kind of justified now. He's got that backing behind the with the jobs report. But I will say this. Look at this. I mean, this is what we faded this really hard this morning, and really good gain. And we're still holding a runner on the ZT short position. But a beautiful pop here, and then we got in at what was it, 291. And we're still rocking in the money. But what I'm talking about here is why aren't bonds continuing to follow through? So if that jobs report is signaling disinflation, bonds should be ripping higher today, and we're not seeing that. I still have a sell signal on pretty much across the board on yields, or excuse me, not on yields, but on notes. So bullish yields here for the next couple of days. I think if bonds are going to bid, they're going to have to consolidate here. But I mean, you'd think that bonds would follow through, right? If it is so, if the economy is weakening so much, at least as far as inflation is concerned. So that's something that sticks out to me right now, and maybe a little red flag on this rally. Another thing that definitely sticks out within the first half hour today. Again, these are just anecdotes, but I like to look at this stuff. The amount of FOMO. I mean, QQQ, we're above the trend line. We're above the line, all-time highs by next week. Maybe, but I don't think so. I think that the bond market's telling us this is a rally to sell into. I've not changed my stance here. I have been bullish the last 2 weeks. I was bullish when people were throwing themselves off a cliff over inflation and over Iran. And now I'm starting to get a little bearish here. So I have been very openly expecting lower highs, and I think that will continue to be the case. Just look at the charts. I mean, just pattern-wise, does this, look like anything familiar here? So pretty textbook kind of bearish consolidation at the moment, but bulls are getting a good bid. And again, we'll leave it at that. The charts are king until proven otherwise. But right now, we're getting a bid here, and we'll leave it at that. We might pull back in a little bit. Looks like there's some GEX at 51.25. I'm doing this video 13 minutes ahead of the close, so they might pull us back in just a touch here. But overall, great week, great volatility. Love the trading environment here. And again, we'll see what we get going into next week. Much lighter data. Now we got all that BS stuff out of the way with jobs and inflation, jolts, and Apple, Amazon, all that earnings is out of the way now. Now we just have the Fed heads every day, and they're going to be out there talking. So we'll have that. We also have 10s and 30s next week, Wednesday and Thursday. So that will be interesting to see how the bond market reacts to that. But right now, again, 51.50. I've been saying this every day, even though we had those rejections, that we could still get up there. Well, high of the day today, 51.39. So I think we probably hit it next week. So again, that's kind of the summary here. I still think it's a sell the rip market. And, the bears are probably angry right now, but I'm telling you, this is what you want. You want to get those bears running for the hills. You want to get those bulls confident if you're going to put in a lower high here. So that's the case. Triple Qs here. This can trade up to 440 in the near term. It's rejecting the 50 MA right now. That's where it's stalling out. So no surprises there. But I did numbers on that, and that's kind of where I think it can go. IWM, very good price action down. And again, shouldn't this be If bonds are bidding and the economy is slowing, this stands to benefit more than any other index. Small caps up with yields down, correct? And IWM rejection, that's why I kept saying 202.50, right? Because that's where this trend line is kind of into. Now, it overshot a little bit. You got to 204, but now we're below that level. And you can see right there the gap up, high of the day. We tried to rally. We were just too stretched, and we had to come back in. So IWM, again, continues to be the laggard. And again, that's the bond market talking, I think. But I think I'm just going to say target achieved for the IWM. I mean, I said it could maybe get up to 205. I don't know if it gets there at this point. But another thing, like I continued to say, is that one thing that kept me bullish all throughout last week is look at that pattern on the Russell. What kind of pattern is that? Everyone should know. If you watch these videos or if you've taken my courses, if I can not put that stupid symbol in there, that is a bullish inside bar, right? So bid up into resistance. Now it's pulling back. Diamond here finally got a nice outside move. So it was in this range here, kind of got out of that kind of bear chop zone, and it is up into the 50 moving average. I think this could maybe get up to 390 and change. I got to redo the numbers here, but that's kind of where I'm expecting it to get up to right now. But Diamond getting a bid too. We'll leave it alone. SMH 223. It's coming. IGV. So that bear wedge here, no follow through on that. What we can just do though, I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. We could easily just do this too. Right? There's nothing to say you can't just readjust it. Again, 82, 83, 84. Somewhere up in this zone, if it tries to break out, I think it's going to get rejected. Dow transports with an impressive move yesterday and today, but I still think it's a lower high coming. In fact, we still haven't even taken out the high from the 23rd. And look at the spiders, way above that. Q's way above the hell, even the Russell's above that. Dow obviously above it. So transports are a weak sector. And again, kind of weak price action. Kind of looks like the Russell, right? Gap up, down. Gap up, and just not even a higher high, right? Even the Russell made a higher high this morning. So couldn't even get a bid on the ISM number. And now pulling back. I don't like the weekly failure. Failed inside bar, so anyway, that's that. All right, let's get over to rates here. So I talked about bonds a little bit already. Let me just fix this chart here. Pull this up. All right, so 2-year yield, I do have a buy signal on for the next at least 2 days. That doesn't mean it's just going to rip higher. That just means we're probably not going much lower. This green bar low should hold. 4.7 should hold. And as long as it holds, technically that's still bullish. As long as if you close below that, then I think, yeah, the disinflation narrative has some legs here in the near term. It could be a cyclical change. 5, same thing, still has a higher low potential. 10s and 30s, same thing, but doing a little bit of rolling over there. Maybe the 30-year needs to go back to that trend line one more time. So yield's pulling back, but don't think that they're a sell just yet. In fact, I'm still long via CT short. Anyway, XHB, look at that. A big gap up and then a 30-minute surge. 1, 2, 3, right down. So was that it? Was that a lower high here? I think I said 107.50 to the gap fill, and that's where it went. Just see, yeah, he went right to the 618 today. So, maybe you can inch up into the 7.5 and fill the gap, but right back inside of that channel there on XHB. So we're seeing some of these things get rejected with lower highs. So XHB, but again, bullish inside bar played out. Now it's pulling back. Let's look at VNQ. Again, same thing. Gap up. Tried to rally 10 minutes and then boom, right down. Told you guys there'd be a lot of resistance at 82 to 83. High of the day, 82.64. And we're back below the 200. So I'd be careful with VNQ here. XLF managing to carve out a gain. We had a buy signal in the trading room on JPM this morning. It just didn't quite get to our number. But nonetheless, XLF up 13 cents on the day. It's holding up. It could be putting in a zigzag up here. I definitely can't rule that out. If not, and you make a lower low, then this could really start to break down towards that 38 handle, maybe even towards that blue trend line, which is the weekly going back to really, wow, the March lows from last year. A lot of levels there on XLF. KRE up 1.5. Again, that's holding up a little bit better. Still don't like the weekly, as you guys know. KBE weekly is fine. That's getting a bid. Just been in a very big range here. And then broker dealers, go figure. Go broker dealers up 1.25. But you know, broker dealers do well when there's volatility, and that does make a little bit more sense here. So we'll see. Maybe it makes a new all-time high. We'll just say 620 as the next level. Oil rolling over. I did not pick this up. I might Monday though. If we're down a little bit more Monday, I think there's a good level here around the 50% fib. So look at this. This is where we broke out from. Back test candle, breakout, 100 MA. I think right in this area, I think it's good for a bounce. So I'll be watching oil Monday. If we get a sell Monday, I'll probably be looking to buy that dip for a trade. Just for a trade. This could be confirming a slowdown, but we're not seeing that from bonds yet. Good head and shoulders there. Who knows who's on the ask too? It could be Biden. All right, XLE. So this actually had a good. So this was very weak earlier. It was not rallying with the market. It rolled over sharply, but it managed to get saved by the end of the week. However, guess what? I think it's too little, too late. You're going to lose that green bar low on a weekly close, unless we have a heavenly bid here in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, you're like 25 cents away. So we're going to need like an all-time bid here to get above that. And the significance here is that this is your previous high going back to 2 years ago, and you closed above it on a weekly. And if we close below that breakout bar low, it's kind of like negating the breakout essentially. So that would be bearish to me. I would look for this to go down to 87. I don't know if that's a buy. It could be, depending on how quickly we get down there. XOP. Again, below this trend line is not as important, but you know it is going to close below that breakup bar. So very much the same. I would say this is bearish, and OIH as well. These need to go test lower prices. They will be dip buys though. I will be buying dips for bigger moves in these. CCJ, nice bullish inside bar on the weekly. No problems here. I think it needs to do more of it, and then it can break out. URNM hammering on this upper trend line here, but it did pull back. Third hit of the trend line usually doesn't break out immediately, but I love this pattern here on URNM. I love it. Look at that. And the same thing with the NJ. Same pattern. Very, very nice. Weekly pattern too. Nat gas getting a bid today. Is it peaking above? Well, it is. Yeah. So I got stopped out of we had profits in this the other day. We stopped out at break even on our runner position. And then, you know, it took off here. So it is what it is. I'm kind of going off the M contract right now. I hate these, you know, if you look at the unadjusted nat gas futures, it's a mess because of that contract roll. But you did break above this trend line here on the, you know, we can say the 4 hour there. Big move, you're above the sell zone, and it's going to close the week above that. So that's a positive. You know, if we look at the weekly, it has not been able to close above this on the weekly in 6 weeks. So that's definitely a positive there for nat gas. We'll see what it does next week. I think maybe if it dips down, it could be a buy here. So nat gas firming up. It's about time. Coming into we're almost into summer now, so it's, you know, it's usually when this starts to rally. But yeah, nat gas perking up. Dollar index, I have a minor buy signal on that still, but it did have a really good slice today, and you lost this bullish structure, right? That nice tight flag. So we can just get rid of that. And but it held the 50 MA, and you know, I told you 104.50 would be the next lower level. Look at where it went. 104.52 today. And then it's going to close the week above 105. So that's not terrible. And if you look at the weekly, you still got a bullish inside bar. So dollar is okay here until we close below that green bar on a weekly. Gold here continuing to back off, down just 10 cents though. I'm still looking for this to go a little bit lower. But, you know, it's just doing some pulling back. But honestly, this is bullish. You want to see some digestion here. It's had a big run. Same thing with silver. Silver's a little bit weaker. But I think these will be dip buys sooner rather than later, most likely. You can see the GDX and SIL still holding up really well. I love those patterns there. I think they need to do more consolidation, but those patterns are good. Platinum up $2, testing the trend line again. Needs a higher high here. It just needs a higher high. And then palladium here, continue to be the laggard play in the PM sector. But I like that it's a laggard because I think that it will catch up eventually. Then copper here getting a bounce, holding the 20 MA. But weekly chart, you still got a big fat doji after a big run up. That's likely indicative of a trend change or a stalling out. We're going to need to either go sideways or pull back. You guys know 425 is the level I'm watching. All right, market's closing in about 30 seconds here. All right, Bitcoin here. Again, we got a bid. We talked about that. We figured there would be another setup here for a bounce and maybe a lower high. We'll see. Watch this trend line here. We'll see if we roll over. But I do think it probably wants to get to 52, 52 and a half now. I might even be a buyer there depending on how we get into that level. And, maybe it doesn't, though. You got the weekly 20 MA. It basically got kissed. You got a nice little tail candle off of that. We'll see what it does over the weekend, but there's the bell. But, it's holding up for the most part, but I think it would be a tradable level to get it down here. But big picture, Bitcoin's still okay. All right, let's just see where we close up. We just got above 51.27. So they forced them to pay out a little bit, huh? Interesting. You can see right there. They forced them to pay out that call GEX. Probably like 2 cents, but anyway. All right, so markets again. Good bounce here. I'll be getting into the bear costume though pretty soon. So we'll see. You guys know I've been on Team Bull for a little bit here. But we'll see what we get next week. A lot less data. Market should be able to trade a little bit more freedom here as we don't have all that event vol built up. But in any case, we'll see what we get. 5150 still should get tagged at some point, and maybe 440 on the triple Qs, and then we'll kind of evaluate it from there. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. You guys have a great weekend. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. See you guys all next week.